Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment on the Weekend Show. It's been an interesting week in Nigeria as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put in place some economic reforms to stabilize the naira and also to help build efficiency in the power sector. Now, some Nigerians have complained about the new electricity tariff, but some have also commented about how power supply has gotten a bit better since the new announcement. And so some people question if it's intentional or not. However, it is important to speak about um, the rising of the naira compared to the US dollars. And so we've seen the naira to dollar go from as high as 1,900 to as low as 1,125 yesterday. This shows that the government is trying its best to ensure that the currency is stable. And so we look forward to see how that would go, but we must comment that. However, Nigerian businesses need to also go back to readjusting their prices to ensure that it reflects the exchange rate, which give them reason to increase it. But moving on from that, this administration promised to give 35% of women and youths when it comes to political appointments and positions generally. And they have been quite true to their word with a lot of young people now assuming senior roles. We've gone past the era where young people were only special advisors, PAs and the like, to people now heading parastatals and institutions. But what are we making of this? What does the future look like, and how are these young people actually representing the new generation and their demographic? And we'll be having a conversation about that. Joining us, we have
Ambassador Awa Mohammed Musa, who is the National Youth Leader NNPP, and he is also the chairman of the National Youth Leaders Forum of all political parties. Good morning, and thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me this morning.
Thank you very much. So it's a pleasure to have you, but let's go right into it. We now have young people, and we've seen this from the Not Too Young to Run bill, which was signed, I think, 2018 before the 2019 elections. And we knew even then that it may not happen immediately, but over the years, more people will be able to run for elective positions, and young people can now be given leadership positions because the older generation, they were doing all these things in their 30s, some of them in their late 20s, and so we are seeing the tide shift and it's coming back to that. What's your take on how active young people have become in governance and politics in recent times?
Well, actually, the young people, they are seriously participating now in politics, and the only problem we are having, most of the youth who are participating in the government have no agenda. Sorry for using that word. And a lot of people, by the time they get into power, you see a lot of changes. Instead for them, the changes to be positive, then it will become negative, naming themselves different names with what we are seeing in different, like when you look at Kogi State, which someone who is supposed to be proud of as a youth when he became a governor, except for him to think and look at the back, most of the people became young. Like if you look at the history, Yakubu Gowon, he became president when he was young, but based on he utilized the time, he utilized the opportunity he has. Often now his name is ringing in the country, and whatever the country want to do have to consult them. Somebody like IBB and the co. You understand me? But these people, our young generation now, by the time they get to power, they became another something else that at least by the 4 years you find you can never even see their names. The names will not be found because of they didn't minimize, they did not utilize the opportunity they have. You understand me? So therefore, really now, Mr. President have given us opportunity, despite from the opposition party. I'm not speaking for the APC, but based on what he said, we can really say we are not going to condemn because we are all Nigerians and we need good for the country. And as a youth, I'm really happy with this wonderful suggestion by giving the youth that 5%, which is even part of our plan, action plan in our forum, that is Youth Leaders Forum. Actually, it's a very good thing. So I think our youth now should try to make sure that we modernize, we will be able to utilize this opportunity we have by the time this promise that Mr. President's promise actualize. That's my own.
Okay, so with what you said, how can young people now effectively engage with political processes in order to maximize their influence?
Actually, how can young people participate, right?
Yes.
They, you know, politics is an open space. Let me use that word. You understand? As a Nigerian, you are, as a youth, you have them. A lot of people doesn't know how to to engage themselves in politics. But I want to make it clear for the youth that the political party, the politics is belong to them, and they should come out. Like let me give example of not too young to run.
Yes.
When you're not too young to run, a lot of people are thinking, this is not going to work. But at the end of the day, when they put the youth, put pressure, they said this is their time, it's time for them to have that agenda to be achieved. Their agenda has been achieved, which so far today we have the record about 42 member House of Rep member below 40. You understand me? So I'm using this and at the same time, now when we realize we can achieve this, when you look at, we are working on how we can see among those 42 House of Rep members who are below 40, we want to make sure by the end of 2024 election, we'll be able to produce 4 governors among them, which we are working on it, and we are going to achieve it by God's grace. So therefore, I think the young too young to run have given us an open eyes, and with what happened in Senegal today, that if 44 young Barbarian youth became a president, means there is hope for the youth in Africa, in Nigeria. So therefore, I think it is high time for the youth to come out and participate fully in politics, and because the country belongs to us, we should not be thinking, these are all, let me not use a word that, like use of condemning them, but it is high time for us to come out, join hand together, keep away issue of tribalism, keep away issue of religious differences, because these are the, some of the tools that these our old fathers are using to divide us for them to continue ruling us. So we need to keep away all these things. We know that this country belongs to us. So let us come together and see how we can solve it. And nobody, this all generation that have finished their this, look at the way they are working, and also look at when we give them power, some of them are sleeping. So it is time for us to come together as a youth to participate in politics for us to salvage this country, because no one to salvage this country except we, the youth.
Okay, in a country where politics is heavily influenced by money, not a lot of youths have access to the millions and billions involved in pursuing political positions. What are those specific actions if I stand up and say, you know what, I want to be involved, and not just involved, but I want to campaign and I want to be elected into a political office?
Yeah, actually, it's not everything about money. Yeah, really money involved. But sometimes it's depending you play your role. Buhari doesn't have money.
Nomination forms cost money.
But somebody bought it for because people believe in him. So let the youth change. Let people believe in us. When people believe in us, people will invest in us. Like the way people invested in Peter Obi in obedience movement. Buhari, he doesn't have money. But people, since people believe in him, invested on him. So therefore, all we are after now, let the youth come back together. Come back to their senses. Let them not be running faster than their shadow. Let them think how to build their future, the future of their children. So once people believe in this, I'm telling you, forget about it. Even not from this country, even the Western world will come to their edge. We'll form them. When we started the movement of answers, we don't have money. But when people believe in the movement, at the end of the day, what happened? People bring out their money to sponsor, and today we have achieved it. So the same thing, All what Nigerians need, we have a very wonderful people in this our country. All what these our people need to understand, let them have belief in you. Really, you mean business. People will come out and support you. Like the way people come out and support Buhari when you have nothing. Like the way people support, we are donating for obedient movement. Like the way people are supporting our movement, Konkosia.
But these people you're mentioning are not youths. They can't even be classified
But
as
it's the
youths.
youth that make them to be who they are. So when we come back to our senses, now we believe that we can do it. Even the same people will come back to us, say we are supporting you like what happened in Senegal. It is the older generation we are leading before, ruling before in Senegal. But when they realize, the youth have understand this is their time, and they are ready, and then the older generation have to come back saying we need to support these people. So we need to think about, forgetting about issue of NSAS, forget about issue of bandit and whatsoever. Come back to our senses. Sit down. Let us know that religion is not a problem. Let us know that geographical difference is not a problem. Let us know that tribalism is not a problem. Our major problem is good leadership. And we have all what it takes to get out this country from the problem we are facing today. Once we believe in that, I'm telling you, we'll take over. The older generation will come back. They will use their money and sponsor us. So that's my own.
You say let's forget about some of these things like tribalism, religion. We've moved on from NSAS, but I recall you talking about how most of these young people who get power, they don't have an agenda. What three areas would you say young people get into power, or governance, politics should prioritize? What three sectors, what three areas, when you talk about agenda, do you think should be a priority for these people?
Agenda, when you talk about agenda, agenda means uh, uh, agenda in different aspects of life. Like, let me give you an example why I say agendas. Since the assumption of our democracy in 1999, a lot of young people were given opportunity.
Mm.
Most of these people that govern us, then they were all young people. Let me start from the state where I come from, Zamfara State. Yerima was early 40. Konkoso was early 40. Donald Duke was early 40. A lot of them. But at the end of the day, it is only few of them that have agenda. Well, that is why I use the word of running after your shadow. A lot of them, when they see they are in power, they were having that opportunity, instead for them to sit down and create an agenda that will be infant in their masses. And to drop a very strong legacy, that even after their office, people will call them, come, please, you are the leader. Or they start running after they want to be president. So, sorry, that is what we mean by agenda. But some of them who will be able to maintain their legacy today, they still benefit, because many of them now, their name is not being mentioned in the media. Or people forget about them because of lack of agenda.
Yeah,
Sorry, let me come.
Okay.
When you talk about, let me use, not that because we are, he's my leader,
Yeah.
or he's my boss, or he's my mentor, that is Dr. Engineer Rabi Musa Kokosu. He was a governor in 1999. Among all the governors. But he have the agenda. He talked about issue of education. And he really worked very well in terms of education.
Which brings
So
me to my point.
excuse
Yes.
me. Based on that, today, as I'm talking to you, not only in Kano, but in the whole country, he has a very good legacy. He's not giving everybody 1 naira, but people believe in him because of what he have done, because of the agenda he has when he was in the office. So this is what young men of today is supposed to learn, that when we have opportunity today, let's try to utilize the opportunity so that that opportunity, that what we have done for the masses, will speak for us in the future. That is why today people are pushing them to become president because of what they have done. But a lot of his colleagues who are the governors at that time, where are they today? Nobody is talking about them because they have the opportunity, but they don't utilize it. So that is my own. So that is why now I'm talking if this 35% that Mr. President promised the youth have come to reality. So those who are given the opportunity, because it's this opportunity and it only comes sometimes one in a time in your lifetime. Let's try to utilize it. I know even now, that's why I'm in the opposition party, but when we see the reality, we have to say it. Mr. President have given a lot of young men opportunities, like even the ministers. And so far, we have not gotten the young ministers, most of youth ministers, as young as they are. So let them try to utilize their time before their time come to, the opportunity come to an end. So let's set up the agenda that even after their office,
yes,
at least then the other people will be able to call them.
You know you are a politician, and so sometimes when politicians speak, you people speak in circles. So I'll bring you back to what I'm saying. And you started answering it. Kwankwaso left a legacy with education. Former President Muhammadu Buhari had said in his first term, economy, security, and corruption would be priority. In his second term, he said education and infrastructure. Education, not so well. Infrastructure, I will give him some credit for work he had done around infrastructure. I'm from Benue State, and right now they've dualized the road from Abuja all the way there. And so we've seen bits of that. With the people in power now, Nigeria has security issues. We have unemployment, we have inflation, we have poverty, we have different, what three areas, if your party was in power, the same way Buhari did, like I said, the economy, corruption, and security, what three areas do you think people in power should prioritize right now?
The first issue, the first agenda, every sensible leader when he came to power is the issue of security. Because if there is no security, any other, even if the infrastructure you are talking about, the road, at least at the end of the day, it is only, I think, donkeys will be following the road. Because like what we are seeing today, I happen to come from Zamfara State. There are some areas now we have to abandon these areas. There were schools, there is road. It's only donkeys today, and the bandit and the criminals will be there. But you can't find anybody there. So the first agenda every sensible leader we have when he came to power is the issue of security. When people have security, any other things can come. Like now, without this security, as I'm talking to you, we cannot farm. That is why the shortage of the food now in the country is we have a shortage food now in the country because of the insecurity. People can no longer go to the farm and farm. People can no longer go to school. People cannot even go. Even the God you say you are worshiping, you cannot go to worship center. So the first thing that every sensible leader and every youth, like we have a lot of youth who are governors today, like Dick Korat, governor of Katsina State, like the same, my governor today, Dauda Lawandari, like a lot of them. So let them try to, and these are the people who they are mainly affected, like even the Obasani is a young, vibrant governor. So let them come together and give security, because this is the only thing that these people will do, that people will never forget them, that they utilize the opportunity, because it is an opportunity given to them. So the first thing, what I'm calling, if really they want to utilize this opportunity, let them try to make sure their people are being secured. That is the first thing. And when you talk about, after security, you talk about education. Because if you look at most of our problem, even the bandits, some people are like this Sheikh Abakar Gumi, Ahmad Gumi, have been going there. He said major problem he discovered from those people is because they didn't go to school. If I'm educated, like somebody like me now, how can somebody give me gun and say, go and do this? You understand me? So therefore, after security, full security, you understand me? Then the next thing is education. If there is education, that is another agenda that we should think about it. Because majority of the problem we are facing in this country is lack of education. Both even when we go to the issue of the religious aspect, even the Bible said, my people are perishing for lack of knowledge. So a lot of people who are perishing today because it's lack of knowledge.
So education remains a huge priority.
That is it. That is why today, sorry, let me play politics here. That is why today we have changed our logo as a party. That we put the logo is book and the calf and the Bible. That is for education.
Congratulations for
Thank you very much.
prioritizing education.
Yeah.
I think we
Thank you.
have someone joining us virtually. Did he?
Yes, via Zoom, we have Idris Kalgo joining us. Good morning.
Good morning and Eid Mubarak, and also my deepest condolence to your colleague who lost his life recently.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
very much.
Idris.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. It's hard, but yeah, Idris, let's talk about youth involvement in politics and governance. You've been on this show a couple of times, a number of times, and I know you're very passionate about young people. What's your assessment of young people who have currently been given opportunity in government and in elective position? We're almost at the 1 year mark with this administration. What's your assessment so far?
Thank you very much. Actually, it's so unfortunate how the Nigerian youth are actually acting. And we don't even act as if like we want to be the leaders of this country. And then you begin to wonder and see that what is really wrong with the Nigerian youth. This government is a total failure. It has nothing to show for the youth actually, and then there's nothing for us to gain out of it. So you ask yourself a question as well: the youth's agenda of a thin issue. Is the Nigerian youth really ready? I don't think we are ready because we easily compromise. Wherever you go, whatever we're doing, the next thing you know, whatever it is, we monitorize everything that we are doing. We don't care about our future. We don't care about our younger ones who are coming up. All what we care for is, what do I get out of this? How much are you giving me? What am I getting out of it? Are we really doing this because we want to push this country forward, or because for our own pockets, for our own personal gain? If you look at it closely, you will get to understand that our leaders are no longer afraid of the youth, because the youth are actually the strength of the country. But in Nigeria, it's a different case. Why are they not afraid of the youth? Because they know whenever they throw out money, we will follow. It's just like chicken, and then you just throw them grain. The next thing, we'll just start following them up and down. Who elect these leaders? Who are the majority of the electorates? It is the same youth. Almost 70% of the Nigerians are the ones who are voting for these leaders in power. Let me give you one example now. Call for a meeting or have a plan that you're going to gain, you're going to benefit in the next 10 or 15 years. Call the whole youth across the country. Okay, for example, you'd be like, okay, come down to Abuja as a central. Let's have a meeting in Abuja. The next thing you hear, are you sending me money for transport? Are you sending me money for this or that? What is really wrong with us? How are we going to fix this country with this kind of manners? I'm not saying all the youth are like that, but majority of us are like that. And that is the biggest problem we are facing now in the Nigerian system.
But Idris, isn't this because the young people have seen that there's a huge barrier to entry in politics, in governance? We've seen tickets for nomination forms being sold at 50 to 100 million. And so don't you think that that's what has pushed young people to understand that you need to have money to effect any change? Do you really blame them?
What happened to not too young to run? I didn't mean we push for it. I didn't mean we stand for it. Do you think we are going to get onto this level? This is democracy. We can as well push for it to say, no, look, bring it down. The nomination for money, fee. We can as well bring it down. If other parties are not willing to do anything better, then we move to another party. For example, PDP is doing good in it. Reps is just barely 2 point something million naira. PDP is not like APC who are charging 50 million, 100 million. No. PDP have given the youths more platform for the youth to contest. If PDP is not suitable for you, you can still move to another party that's more suitable for you to contest. Do we have to monetize everything before we get to where we are going to? So if you look at it closely, my brother, now, the Nigerian youths are actually not even ready. Unemployment, bad healthcare sector, bad education sector, everything is so going down, nothing is working. But who is talking? Nobody's even talking. But unfortunately, the same Nigerian youths are coming out to protest for justice for Mohbad. What about justice for my own sake? What about justice for my good roads? What about justice for my health? What about justice for my unemployment? This is the kind of youth we have in this country. Put a music concert now. You will see them thousands going to that music concert. We pay more attention on the things that are irrelevant things. We don't even care for our own better tomorrow. We don't even care about it. We don't even care about ourselves. Show me one single youth that you know in this country, just one single person, just one single youth that you know across this country that is working for his own community free of charge, not to get anything out of it, just showing love for his own community. Just single one. We don't do it.
No, but Idris, you actually have a lot of young people, including yourself, who are doing a lot of work in their little corners and in their own spaces. However, I do agree with you that there's a lot of distraction. I mean, Big Brother is starting soon, and that would be a huge distraction. The next music battle is a huge distraction, but that shouldn't invalidate the efforts of the handful that are actually doing actual work. But I do hear your sentiment about the need for us to do better and to be more accountable in these spaces. But I just wanted to state that, yes, you say I should show you one news. I can show you tons of them, but I do agree with a lot of your points, but it doesn't invalidate their struggles. Did it?
Yeah. Idris, just before we go, there are lots of complexities in the political structures here in Nigeria. And yes, you've said a lot. And, you know, there's a good and bad in all of that. But how can these youths now, you know, the ones that have already gotten into power, how can they navigate through these political structures, which are very complex, you know, in order to create meaningful change?
You know, you just mentioned about the Big Brother of the thing. Big Brother will soon start. I will join in watching Big Brother, watching people just eating food, chatting, sleeping. This is the kind of youth Nigerian youth have become. What is really wrong with us? Why can't we channel the energy to something productive? Nigerian youths are very hardworking youths. All what we are looking for is the business atmosphere, for the government to create the business atmosphere for us. Why don't we push for it so that we can have a better Nigeria? Why can't we be a good leaders? Why can't we show it? When you talk about the youth in government as well, if you look at it closely, you see one of the few worst governors and the few senators, worst senators and reps are even the youths. We have seen what happened in so many states. We have seen what happened in the senator who went to sex shop just to go and get something and then end up slapping a...
I'm so sorry, Idris. I promise we didn't cut you off, but there seems to have been some network challenges. So I do apologize, that's network, and I want to clearly state that he wasn't cut off. But yes, we have a responsibility and a role to play. Idris has said, you know what, it's up to us, we the young people, to take responsibility and accountability. And I like the fact that we're having these honest conversations with ourselves, that we're not here to place blames. We all have a role to play. And in your own case, topics. You spoke about security, you spoke about education, and you spoke about people just wanting to have that dream and that ambition to make things better. We will be holding you accountable and your party with your new logo. There are 42 young people in the House of Reps. We are and we will be holding them accountable. But finally, in closing, what's the next step for your party? Are you people thinking of a merger? Are you people supporting? Or what's the next step for your party as we close this
No,
up?
really, it's too early to say anything now about it, because you know politics always move with the with
Times.
times. You understand me? So it's too early. It's depend on the way things. If people believe in us, decided to collapse all their structure into us, good and fine. We'll go on with the party, with the merger. So that is it. That is all I can
Okay,
say.
we'll keep watching. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
contribution and for joining us. And to young people, for those of you doing the work, we see the work you're doing in tech, in finance, in transportation, in food business, in entertainment, in Nollywood. Young Nigerians have decided to take their own future in their hands to do what they can do, which is why we have the rise of entrepreneurship. On the weekend show, it's a youth-led show. I'm becoming older now, but it's started by young people, run by young people, and we do the bulk of what we can do in every space, and which is why you see amazing people doing great stuff. Which brings us to Ayo Abdul Karim Adams, who was a part of this show. He's always going to be a part of this show. The beautiful screens you see behind, our montage, everything is him. And Ayo has worked with people on this show for the last 5 years, and they put together a video sharing their moments and memories of Ayo. And so we'll be wrapping up the political segment with this video from the team of the weekend show and Dark Communication. Over to you, Director.